Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video for today. So AMD's AI event will happen on June 12th. This is going to be the first time that they have such an event, and in my opinion it's going to be a pretty important one. Now, we don't really know what exactly will get mentioned there. We know who the guest speakers are going to be. We know that Lisa Su is going to talk, but is it going to be something like a GTC, for example, where well, maybe they'll show us the roadmap. Maybe they'll even talk about their new partnerships, maybe their partner ecosystem, some new companies, some new partners that we don't know about that are new. Hopefully they'll show us maybe, well, new GPUs. Who knows, right? Something that NVIDIA does pretty well when we had the GB200, GB300, Rubin, and then Feynman. This was, okay, something new. Maybe we'll hear something similar from AMD. They might also talk a little bit more about the ROCm platform, the open source software ecosystem. So let's see what that will be. I'll talk a little bit more about that throughout the video. So it's a pretty important date, I'll say. I think me and Jose are going to stream during that day, so stay tuned for that. Right now, AMD, as you can see, sits at $114, let's call it $115. Since the lows of April, which is at the start of April, the stock has gone up over 46%. Of course, I still have to show you the year-to-date performance for AMD, still down around 5% or so. Over the past 12 months, the stock is still down 33%. And if we actually want to see the drawdown here in the last 3 years, from its peak, the stock is still down 45.7%. This is a company worth $185.7 billion, a trailing 12 months PE of 80.5 times, but a forward one of 26.3 times. This is also a company that's expected to grow rapidly in the upcoming fiscal years, whether it's revenue or EPS, with EPS actually growing faster than revenue. Margins are also improving, especially gross profit margin, and free cash flow should follow as well, especially since we've heard, well, that they're increasing their buybacks by $6 billion. You usually do not increase your buybacks by that much. They had $4 billion left, so now you're adding 6, which means 10. Quick math, I know, I'm a genius, but you usually don't do that if you don't think that your cash flows are going to increase in the upcoming quarters and upcoming years. So let's talk a little bit about AMD, some recent announcements as well, my expectations from the event. If you enjoy this type of videos, hit all the buttons, would really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much, and a special thanks to FinChat as well for sponsoring this video. Alright, so first up, a quick FYI. This is Amazon's latest 13F. Comes at no surprise that, well, still over 92% of that portfolio is in Rivian. Now, if we look at the number 2 position in that portfolio, although, well, a big decrease, but 3.96% is now AMD. Is this a little preview to what we should expect during that AMD AI event? Maybe they'll announce AWS. Maybe they'll announce, well, a strategic partnership with Amazon. Maybe not. But I guess, Amazon investing so much, let's say, so much. It's nothing for a $2 trillion company, but it's still a nice amount of money here. So yeah, maybe this is a sign of good things to come. As for the AI event, it's Advancing AI 2025. So see how AMD is advancing AI across industries and get an inside look at the future of AI. Hear from AI thought leaders and learn why AMD is their trusted partner in AI innovation. Attend expert-led developer sessions, hands-on workshops, co-created with the open source community, and gain practical insights into real-world AI workflows. And here, again, if we look at the Advancing AI sponsors, we have number 1 here, AWS, Dell, Supermicro, Lenovo, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, Vultr, and then a bunch of others right here. But here again, we don't see a Meta or a Microsoft or something like that. No, here we're seeing AWS, also Oracle. And remember that AMD also recently struck a deal with Oracle to deploy a cluster of 30,000 AMD MI355X accelerators. So maybe more good news to come. Now, more recently, we've also had an annual general meeting for shareholders. And if you missed that, you can go here on FinChat, view transcript. And if you don't want to read it all or listen to it all, just click on the AI summary and it gives you a nice little summary. So they first started to talk about the key highlights, how much revenue has grown, data center revenue growth, client, gaming, and embedded, We've seen that, and I'll show you a bit more in a bit. They talk here about the AI business growth. So AMD Instinct data center products scaled to over $5 billion in 2024. As we've known, they expect it to be in the tens of billions of dollars in the future. They talked here about the data center and AI focus. So AMD's strategic shift towards data center solutions and AI is paying off with significant revenue growth in these areas. The acquisition of ZT Systems is a key move to enhance rack scale AI capabilities and accelerate time to market for future MI series accelerators. Probably going to see the first big impact in 2026 with the MI400, and probably, hopefully, maybe during the event, we're going to hear maybe a bit more about what's coming in 2027 and onwards. And here again, while guidance was not specifically given, just like in the earnings call, we don't really get the AI revenue guidance just yet. My prediction is still that we're going to get that towards the back half of the year, so maybe in the next earnings call. But, and this is maybe them already giving us again maybe that little preview of that event, the launch of the MI350 series in June 2025 and the MI400 series in 2026 are key milestones in AMD's AI roadmap. I think the MI350 will just be, well, shown during that AI event. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with FinChat, well, I'd be surprised because I'm showing you this in each and every video. It's a stock research platform, the best out there. But what's great about it is that you can track segments and KPIs that are specific to each and every company. So for AMD, let's say we look at the quarterly performance. We can look at data center revenue, quarterly performance, client revenue, and gaming. Let's do the first two because those are usually the ones that generate the most revenue. We can also look at the year-over-year growth just for data center. We can look at that right here, stack them up to make it look even better. And as you can see, the growth in data center started off already in the July quarter 2023. That's when it bottomed out. And then we've seen small increases each and every quarter. It does seem like the huge increase happened in September quarter of 2024. That's when it did increase 122% year over year. But remember, that's 122% year over year on top of a pretty weak quarter. Now, yes, the growth rates have decelerated, but this is on top of a bigger and bigger number. Now, yes, I will admit, and by the way, the client side is still a side that gets slept on for one reason or another, but that side is doing quite well. Now, plenty of people have asked, why has NVIDIA gone up so much while AMD, well, still doing quite well? AMD did not follow suit. Well, the reason is that NVIDIA managed to continue these growth rates, right? NVIDIA went from data center generating what, $3 billion to now it generating probably $30 billion, if not more. So that 10x increase, of course, the stock will also 10x. And you can clearly see this right here, right? While AMD, the blue bar right here, has grown, well, it is nothing compared to what we've seen with NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA managed to continue to grow extremely rapidly. And right now, total revenues, overall $130 billion. Remember, Q1 2023, that was under $30 billion. And this is just some of the things that you can do on FinChat. I show you this each and every video, but you can try it out yourself. New users will get FinChat Pro for free for 2 weeks. And if you really love it, you can always upgrade. You can use my link. You'll get 15% off. It's an amazing platform. I've used it before. I'm using it right now. Of course, they sponsor a couple of videos. So yes, you might say I'm biased, but I use it anyways. Regardless of whether or not I'm sponsored, I've shown you the platform in each and every video. I think it's very valuable for investors that really want to maybe take their investments to the next level. Like I said, you can try it out, 2 weeks for free, FinChat Pro, and then if you love it, you can always upgrade. All right, now switching back to the AI event. What do I think AMD will show? I think they'll launch the MI350 series during that event. I think that's normal. They launch it and they'll talk a bit more, and then probably we can maybe hear a bit more about their new AI partnerships because of that MI350, and maybe they'll already say, oh, and we also have some commitments for the MI400. I think that could be great. They'll of course talk about ROCm software advancements, the ecosystem, the open source ecosystem. There's going to be some other people that will talk about the software side of things, not from AMD, but from their partners as well. So it makes sense, right, to basically show the world, because this is something that NVIDIA GTC has been doing for a decade more, right? It's showing the world, showing developers, showing potential customers what's possible inside the NVIDIA ecosystem. And so here afterwards, hearing more about the AI roadmap and a vision, whether it's 2026, 2027 and onwards, anything will be very much appreciated. And then of course, talking about the ecosystem and customer validation. And don't forget that it wasn't so long ago that Lisa Su said that the data center AI accelerators could reach $500 billion by 2025. And that's over a 60% CAGR from 2023, when that was just $45 billion. Again, I don't expect them to take a large part of that market. But the fact that she talked about that, the fact that we've been hearing more and more about, well, partnerships, whether it's in UAE, Saudi Arabia, France, I think they'll take a decent chunk of that 500 billion, and that's just one part of the whole data center AI infrastructure build out worldwide. Now, the bull case is, of course, AI data center growth accelerating. They're going to continue to take CPU share from Intel. It's attractive valuation versus NVIDIA, although NVIDIA does deserve the premium because it is NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA's forward PE right now sits closer to 30, AMD sits closer to 26. Then you've got the major cloud partnership, right? Maybe we'll have now more and more. And then institutional buyers and new product launches could, of course, be some catalyst for the stock. Now, on the flip side, the bear case is, of course, NVIDIA's CUDA software mode remains strong and ROCm does not take off. AI chip exports control cut into revenue, such as the ones that we've seen from China, although maybe the announcements from the Middle East might balance that out. Then the gaming segment and the embedded one still remain weak. I still predict, and I think the company as well, that in the back half of the year, things will change into tailwinds. And then, of course, there's always execution risks, so delays, supply chain issues, increasing competition. That's always something to consider. And so, yeah, the last one here, high expectations, valuation risk. I mean, if you don't know what you're buying, then of course that's always an issue. But if you know what you're buying, then you wouldn't be surprised by what's going on. As for a couple of analyst comments and price targets. So Bank of America has a buy rating and $130 price target. They expect 14.5% upside. Strong data center and AI momentum is the reason. Rosenblatt Securities, also a buy rating, but a $200 price target. They're bullish on AI chips, sees up to 76% upside in the next 12 months. As for the consensus number, 55 analysts. So the rating is buy to moderate, and the price target is between $140 to $160. So 31% with a strong buy, 38% a buy, 27% hold, and 4% sell. Then we've got two others here, TD Cowen with a buy rating of just $110. So they're cautious due to near-term headwinds, but sees long-term optionality. I guess once the stock moves upwards, they'll change their price target. Morgan Stanley, also a buy rating, $175 to $200 price target. They highlighted AI data center growth potential. Now, more recently, we finally had that announcement. So AMD announced the agreement to divest ZT Systems data center infrastructure manufacturing business to Sanmina. So that's going to be a $3 billion in cash and stock deal, inclusive of a contingent payment of up to $450 million. AMD retains ZT Systems RAS-scale AI solution design and customer enablement expertise to accelerate quality and time to deployment for cloud customers. This is something that, well, that was always the goal from the start, right? From the start, when they made that acquisition, they always said that they were going to be looking for, well, a strategic partner to buy the data center infrastructure manufacturing side of the business. And they said here, as part of the transaction, Sanmina becomes a preferred new product introduction manufacturing partner for AMD Cloud Rack and cluster scale AI solutions. AMD will retain ZT Systems' world-class design and customer enablement teams to accelerate the quality and time to deployment of AMD's AI systems for cloud customers, which should help them with the MI400 series and onwards. And so while it is true that we all want AMD to be, well, the next NVIDIA, to be worth $500 billion, maybe $1 trillion or whatnot, these things take time, right? As we've seen, it is a company that is growing. It is doing what it should be doing. Now it is, well, allowing itself to buy back more shares in case it feels, well, that its shares are too cheap. But For me, the focus should be on accelerating the AMD, the ROCm ecosystem. Once you do that, this is something that NVIDIA has done very well, you are going to attract way more customers, way more companies, way more countries, as well as we've seen with sovereign AI. And then they'll just stay inside that ecosystem. And the more people that stay inside that ecosystem, the more that gets built in that ecosystem, which then will attract even more potential customers. And the flywheel goes round and round and round. I still believe in Lisa Su. I still think that she's an amazing CEO. I think AMD will do very well in the many, many years to come. Believe it or not, I still think that there is going to be an insane amount of spending over the next couple of years. And as AMD solutions get better and better and actually maybe offer quite an alternative to NVIDIA's solution, then things will start to accelerate even more. Maybe it's wishful thinking, maybe we'll stay in the advanced money destroyer side of things. But yeah, the reason why I'm bullish is because of everything that I've mentioned in this video and in the past video. So all in all, that's about it. June 12th is a big day for AMD. Should you buy before? If you like the stock, then yes. And if not, then no. If you just want to trade it, there's always a risk of a sell the news type of event. But if you always wanted a position, yeah, why not? And if you already have a position you want to add, in my eyes, yes, 114 is still a good price to pay. Some will say, oh, but I will only buy it at 60, 70. Yeah, I want to bet $100 that if it goes to 50 or 70 or 60, you will not buy it either. So there is that. Anyways, that's all I've got for you right now. Do check out FinChat. Links down in the description and in the pinned comment. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.